Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my humble casa. That means home in Spanish. Welcome to my humble home in Livingston, Montana. Okay, I've got 11:45 p.m. a.m., Mountain Standard Time here in Livingston. And it is the 6th of February of 2021. Okay, I got another story to tell. I just got done telling one, but one popped into my head here as I was sitting here meditating on what I was going to talk to you folks. But I like to, I tell stories from my younger years, my childhood, all that. Just, to me, it's a good way to break up the monotony of whatever the crap I think I'm doing with this channel of mine. Okay. Now, in my life, I've been married to the same gal for 45 years, and we've had 3 biological, our own children. You know what I mean? Not mine, yours, hers, and stepkids and all that. 3 kids, 2 daughters, and 1 son. My son is the oldest, and then I have a daughter that lives over in Belgrade. She's my middle daughter. And I have a daughter that lives down in Atlanta, Georgia. She's my youngest daughter. Man, excuse me. I got a frog. Man. You guys are probably wondering why I get frogs in my throat. This air up here in Livingston is kind of dusty, Get a lot of wind and all that kind of stuff. Well, anyway, this story here is about how the wife and I came about deciding that we only wanted 3 children. We had a doctor's help in this matter, trust me, Now, if I told this story before on my channel, I'm sorry, because I've got I'm climbing up there towards 800 videos on my channel now, and I just know doggone well that sooner or later I'm going to double up on stories, which is okay with me. I don't care because they're the same story. They got the same outcome, the same everything. Anyway, on our last child, her name is Jessica. I can say that much because she's married and got a bunch of kids, and her last name's changed. I don't dox any of my kids or anything like that. But the wife and I had discussed stopping having kids a little bit, but not very much. So when my little daughter Jessica comes along, we really hadn't decided if we wanted to go for a 4th kid or a 5th kid. You have to realize, ladies and gentlemen, we're kind of old school that way, Anyway, so after Jessica was born, shortly after she was born, maybe one day, I'm loping down the... I'm loping down the halls of the hospital, and my daughter all my kids were born in a place called Burley, Idaho. Where's Burley, Idaho? In the middle of nowhere. It's in between Pocatello and Twin Falls, Idaho. Just look on Google Maps, you'll find it, But all my kids were born in southern Idaho, and my wife comes from southern Idaho. But anyway, my last child was born. I'm loping down the hall of the hospital, and all of a sudden I felt this arm hook in here, hook right underneath. Well, it was over on this left side here, and all of a sudden I kind of looked over to my left, and there was the doctor that was in charge of my wife's pregnancy case, Dr. Payne. That was his name, Brent Payne. I don't really want to dox the guy. I think he's still in practice down there in Burley, but nonetheless, this actually happened. He'd probably get a big kick out of this, maybe, I don't know. But he hooked me, he hooked me in my arm and drugged me off into this little office that was off to my right side. He goes, "Come here, you stud." Just like that, not very doctorly, "Come here, you stud." Man, I didn't know if I was going to be trying out for being a male escort or what the deal was, but he gets me in this little office and he shuts the door and he goes, "I know you're kind," and I'm sitting there going, "What the hell am I guilty of?" I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Yeah, you're one of them studly, real virile kind of guys that likes to rip off like about 10 kids." And And I looked at him, I'm wondering where the punchline is here, and he goes, look, he said, let me tell you something here. Now, keep in mind, he was the guy that the day before they got to deliver my wife's, our last child, he goes, have you ever thought about limiting your family? He said, what do you got now there, Jim? 3, right? The doc ought to know, he delivered all 3 of them. I said, yeah, Jessica, Echo and Joe, okay. And anyway, he goes, have you ever thought about, like Planned Parenthood, putting a lid on the, putting a skid on the lid or whatever you want to say here, I go, well, Doc, we kind of thought about it, but we really, didn't, Anyway, basically I was stammering and stuttering around because the wife and I really hadn't talked about it that much. That's what I'm trying to say. He goes, well, look, he says, when I was helping your wife out with her birth, he says, I've seen a little problem in there, with your wife's female organs, and I think you'd be wise if you guys stopped having kids and all this other kind of stuff. And this goes to show you how dumb and naive I was back in these days. And you're probably wondering, when did this wonderful thing happen? Well, I can guarantee you, Jesse was born in 81 or 82. I'm no good with birthdays, okay? And he says, well, look, he says, I got a couple of options here I'd like to share with you and then see what you and your wife thinks. And he goes, first of all, he says, I can give you a vasectomy. And I said, me? I'm the promoter of all this program, not the receiver, so to speak. That's the way I'm thinking in my mind. And he goes, yeah, and I didn't even know what a vasectomy is. So I looked at that old doctor and I said, what the hell's a vasectomy? He goes, well, he tried to get real technical, but he's dancing around everything and trying to tell me that he's got to, cut me in a certain spot down there in my privates and snip a gland or two and everything. And I looked at him and I said, so what you're trying to tell me, Doc, is that you're going to make me so I'm firing rockets that are unarmed, right? Is that what we're going with this? And he goes, well, yeah, something like that, And but when he got to the part about cutting a nut, okay, there's no other way to put this, I told him, no. I said, well, Penny and I are going to have 190,000 kids before you put your fingers on the home plate there, before you cut a nut. I said, this ain't going to happen, Doc. Me and you are going to go to fist fighting. That's exactly what I told this guy. I didn't give a shit what his reasons were or anything, And he goes, man, he says, I was glad you said that. Because I was fixing, I thought that me and him was going to be tumbling down the parking lot. And I go, I looked at him and he had this great big sigh of relief on his face. And he goes, I don't like giving those vasectomies anyway. He says, do you mind if I go down and talk to your wife about a tubal ligation? I says, I don't care what you talk to my wife about, but, when it comes to the family jewels, we're not making any kind of razor blade decisions here, We're not carving up no family jewels and all that stuff. So that's what ended up happening. That's how the wife and I ended up stopped having kids. Is he went down there and spread all of his medical propaganda with my wife and told him what his concerns were and everything, and she let him have let him do the tubal ligation thing. So I got out of the old doctor, wanting to be a trouser lizard or anything like this, That's the end of this stupid story. Now, if you didn't get a little laugh out of this, I'm going to pray for you, okay? Tell you what, we'll see you on down the trail. Take it easy. Don't do anything I do. Take care of yourself. And adios, my friends.